All right, we are back this week for Mandatory Music. The Grammys were last night, so we're going to talk about that today. More specifically, we're talking about Gojira and their Grammy win yesterday as Best Metal Performance. But first, Mikey, how are you? How are you doing?
Wonderful, sir.
How's your shoulder? How's your ailments?
Whatever. I don't know. At this point, I'm just a gimpy old man. And I'm actually, there's a live stream of a lottery I entered for a ridiculous trail race that I'm hoping to get into. And it's going on right now. So if
Mike just all of a sudden starts cheering randomly, just know that he got entered into the lottery for this race.
Yeah. So this race is no joke. It's a lot of climbing. It's a lot of kilometers. And I
believe in you, sir.
Yeah, I can do it. It's just a question of how much is it going to suck at the time. Yeah. But no, other than that, I'm good. I have, I got some shoulder and back issues going on, but I think that's what it is. Whatever.
It's all called age.
It's called age. It's just like I told you earlier. It started on one side of my back. Now it's migrated to the other. After this, it's got nowhere else to go, so it'll just go away. That's the way I'm looking at it.
There you go.
Trying to exercise, push through it, the whole schmeal. But
yeah, do the typical guy thing and just ignore it until it goes away, right?
Dude, I'm trying. Like you say, the Grammys were last night. I did not watch much. My kids were invested in the Grammys. Weirdly.
Well, I have a question for you about the Grammys specifically.
Yes.
So, the Oscars carry a lot of weight for movies, for film.
Oh, absolutely they do.
Do you think the Grammys carry the same weight musically for artists, or is it just like one of those things that just people show up and it doesn't really matter if you win a Grammy or not? Like, it's not really going to have that much effect on your career if you win a Grammy or not. Because if you win an Oscar as an actor,
your life changes.
Substantial pay rate is massively increased.
Without a doubt.
But musically, do people even care if you won a Grammy or not?
I think the answer is yes and no. I think the no part comes from anyone that's usually up for a Grammy is already well into the music business and have a successful career.
So my comment for that would be the Grammys is more of a popularity concert.
You nailed it. Yes, it is.
Then who deserves to win?
Yeah. Because
more or less. Sometimes it's the person that deserves to win.
But sometimes it propels. Let's just say there's a category of absolute heavyweights of the Swifties, Beyonces, whatever, all in this category.
The metal category, man.
Well, exactly. And I don't think this is going to do much for Gojira, to be perfectly honest.
I'm really
because they're huge already, right? They are not
in
quite
France,
an arena level
not really in North America, but they are.
No, they're gigantic in Europe, and they play big places here too. But
they were up against Judas Priest and Metallica, and if Metallica won, we're big Metallica fans.
Yes. What's that going to do?
But here's the thing:
what song were they nominated for?
Screaming Suicide.
God. Then they shouldn't have won.
And if you ask Mike and if you ask me, and I'm pretty sure Mike will agree with me, Metallica doesn't deserve to win. Not for Best Metal Performance. So when they say Best Metal Performance, are they actually, is it the song or is it a specific performance that they're looking at?
Yes. I think it's, I bet you it's probably performance, because look at what the opening ceremonies of the Olympics did. That was polarizing. When the Gojira song was playing, it was all the stuff in the building, the heads coming off, the whole thing. It was all about that performance. Because you didn't tell me if Gojira goes on tour, they're playing this song? No. Because
they will be. I guarantee you they will play this. Yes.
They're going to have to pump in the vocals, though. They'll have to pump in all the opera stuff.
Yeah, or just unless she goes on tour with them. But
I doubt that. Whoever, pardon my ignorance, but I don't even know who it was. But
okay, so let's just real quick. There's a song that Gojira performed at the Olympics in the summer that was the first time a metal band has ever performed at the Olympics. So that's like an iconic thing.
It's huge.
Called Mea Culpa, and it's a remake of a French Revolution song from years ago, I guess.
The French Revolution
called Gojira, or whatever, however you pronounce it, because don't skewer me for mispronouncing it.
Yeah, but you are European, so you're okay to screw it up.
Yeah, okay. Perfect.
I can't screw it up.
So it's Gojira band that did the metal version of the song, and the vocalist is Marina Viotti, and the composer for this was Victor the Masan, I think. I probably said that completely wrong.
No, you got it, buddy. It's all good.
Yeah. He could have told you 100% that Gojira was going to win for best metal performance.
Oh, there's no doubt. I think.
Yeah.
Like sure, the Judas Priest song, that is it, Crown of
Crown
Thorns.
Of Horns.
Crown of Horns. My bad. Crown of Horns. Really good song. Yeah. But does anybody know that Judas Priest put out a record last year? I'm talking. I
don't think so.
In sort of in pop culture, where you have this iconic moment where the whole world is watching the opening ceremonies, and you're basically fake decapitating like all the wives and all that stuff.
Well, so the interesting thing about, because I watched it live at work when it was happening, the opening ceremonies, and it was probably the best part of the opening ceremonies is when Gojira played. Everybody was at attention.
I got to agree, because I watched most of it and I wasn't bored, because it's the opening ceremonies. It's a spectacle to behold. But the Gojira thing was like, oh wow, here we go. I'm like,
yeah, let's go. This is
finally
something this is gonna shake everything up, so to speak, right?
Not just pop stars and
Well, they didn't play it safe.
They did,
which
not.
You have to kind of respect. And I know we're going back to the Olympics chapter in the summer last year, but but
I think that's the biggest part of the song, is talking about that performance of the Olympics. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Is that's what got them the Grammy. That's what got the worldwide attention of them,
so
huge.
They played. Okay, so if anyone's been living under a rock and wasn't aware of what happened in the Olympics, so normally when you do the opening ceremonies, the teams come in, walk around the track, basically. They didn't do that in Paris. What they did is they did it on the River Thames. I believe it was the River Thames.
Yeah, I believe so.
And instead of walking around the track, they sent all of the teams, all the countries on a barge through the river. Yeah, and then so Gojira was playing on these little platforms attached to this building where Marie Antoinette was legitimately executed.
Right. Yes.
And they're playing the French Revolution song, and they did their metal version of it. Basically, it's a short 3-minute song, very Gojira. Like when you hear it, it's like this. You can hear this without even knowing who it is, and go, "Yeah, that's Gojira."
That's Gojira. You don't need to hear any vocals. It's like the opening, like 2 seconds. Like, yep, that's Gojira.
Well, why don't we talk about that? What is the Gojira style of music?
It's a lot of double bass,
a lot of triplets.
It's like the
drop
guitar
tuning.
Big time. I don't even know what this is dropped to. It's like they go below, they go down,
very
they go
bassy.
Down the rabbit hole, and it's bassy, and it's just
the guitar is very percussive sounding. It's all like that kind of sound.
That's the Gojira sound, and it's unmistakable. Like you could say, well, other bands this is their sound. Like no, it's the most unmistakable sounds. Like it's Gojira, and lots of newer bands try and emulate that, but they can't.
They do this thing, Gojira, and this is very evident in this song, which I really like, but they do this very low open string, palm muted stuff, and then they'll like do this high squealy crunch somewhere like way up on the fretboard.
Yeah.
Like a dissonant squeal somewhere like on the 12th fret, So that's a very, it's like that in a lot of Gojira songs. It's like the staple thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to speak.
But it's done in a way where, okay, we know this is Gojira, but it's not like, well, this sounds like something else, or this, they already wrote that song. They're just regurgitating something. It's it's similar. Like it's like the open E, like quickly, picking the open E on the guitar, but you can do it 18 million different ways. But they just have it this way that is their own.
And it's also the classic pairing of heavy metal music with opera.
It works so well.
Which is, I don't know why it works so well, but the what's a word I'm
juxtaposition?
Thank you. Of
You're
like
welcome.
This soft female vocal over this crunchy, heavy sound.
Well, it's all that European metal that you and I both love.
Yes.
It's so much of that anyway. And Gojira's not really known for, not that this isn't their song anyway, but they're not known for having the operatic stuff. Like the vocals are usually very growly and very aggressive, but the topics they talk about are about the environment.
Dude, you can, I don't know if you watched the video recently or not of it, but you can hear like the crowd is so amped up. Like you can hear them cheering.
Yeah.
Like you can pick it up on the mics.
They're huge in France. They're like, they're like, I wouldn't say not like pop stars, but they're as popular as like Beyonce in France. Like
they're pretty big in France.
Like they play like TV shows. They play like Good Morning Paris or like whatever the equivalent is. and they like played like Amazonia on TV in the morning. It's like, okay, like this is just, it's awesome. Like it's to see it
nice.
to see metal represented like to the masses, because usually most of the stuff, especially what we listen to, is not besides Metallica. That's obvious, but
yeah, I got to see them once though, which was very fortunate.
Yes,
they opened for Metallica in the Hardwired tour.
They did. The one time I didn't go,
they didn't sound that great.
No. Okay.
It's nothing to do with the skill level of the band. It's just you're the opening band at BC Place,
right?
You know, and you're there. It's not gonna. You're not gonna have your best EQ settings.
I was gonna say, did they have the Metallica setup, sort of like what some of the other bands, like when we saw them in August, like they had used this, like Wolfie sounded really good.
No, they used their own stuff, I think, because Metallica didn't have a round stage for that tour.
True that.
It was all on one side of the stadium because they had an entire video wall that ran across the entire stage with two huge pyro buckets on cauldrons, I guess you could call them, on either side of the. They were literal cauldrons because the flame was going so high. But
and how could we not have an episode and not talk about Metallica?
Exactly. How can we not?
But yeah, so Gojira, like, I guess we can talk about the band a little bit. They're a 4-piece. The two brothers, Mario is the drummer, Duplantier, and Joe is the singer. And then I don't know the other two guys' names because I've forgotten, because I'm not that good of a fan, I guess. I can't remember. I think Christian's one of them, but pardon my ignorance. I'm sure you're looking it up right now.
I'm looking up other things, but that's fine.
Oh, okay. I'm not looking up anything right now. But
so the name of the song,
yes,
Mea Culpa, actually translates into "It's not my fault."
Interesting.
Basically, kind of sort of that way, or another way of looking at it is making a mistake and going, "Oh, my bad." That's how somebody kind of translated. "Oh, that's my bad. That's my fault." Basically.
Interesting.
So,
because France got a lot of flack for this.
Well, not only that, there's a couple things that happened with the whole Dionysus, everyone thinking they're making fun of the Last Supper when it had nothing to do with the Last Supper. But
that's the thing. Like, it's like most people knew. Like you knew, I knew. Like,
it's the Greek god of wine and parties, and they're like, that is a blasphemy of the Last Supper. No, that's not even related to the Last Supper.
Nothing to do with it. It's just people raging on what they don't understand. It's it's just that whole thing. But
I just remember watching it. It was just like, you're watching the Olympics, right? And you're just kind of like in this haze where everything's happening. You pay attention. And then Gojira came on. And I know I just said this, but like everyone was just standing at attention. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Like you've been waiting for this, right?
Exactly.
And they killed it. They freaking crushed it. So yeah, it's. I can hear your dog barking.
I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
He's having a hissy fit because he's not getting out for a walk right now.
Aww.
And he just does that. I always say he's not my dog. It's my wife's dog.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes. But did you want to hit a couple other Grammys things? Because there's a couple.
We're not going to really talk too much about this song. And there's a lot of Grammy stuff to go over from yesterday. Best rock album that went to the Rolling Stones.
How cool is that?
That was what they're like 80.
Yeah,
like Keith Richards is 112 or something.
Yeah, like Mick Jagger's 204. But how cool, absolutely how cool is it that a band of their vintage can still put out music? We all know that we even said the Grammys is somewhat of a popularity contest. But for the Stones to put it, the record they put out was really good. It's actually good music. And for dudes 80 that are pushing 80 that have that kind of energy, I dare any other band to come out at that age and have that kind of energy and record such good music.
So I just want to highlight one thing here. There is no metal album category anymore in the Grammys. It's best metal performance. The metal album category falls under the rock album. So the description of the category itself, best rock album for albums containing greater than 70% playing time of new rock, hard rock, or metal recordings. Mm-hmm. None of the metal bands that were nominated for best performance were nominated in the rock category for their albums. So 72 Seasons wasn't nominated. The Judas Priest album wasn't nominated.
What do you have the list of rock albums?
I do, yes. So it was
Stone.
The Black Crowes with Happiness Bastards.
Yeah.
Fonte DC with Romance. Green Day with Saviors. Idols with Hang. Pearl Jam with Dark Matter, the Rolling Stones, obviously, and Jack White were the nominations for that. So, and there's also an alternative music category, which has alternative music performance and album at the same time.
Interesting. Okay.
So St. Vincent won both of those categories.
That's because she's awesome. That's why. That woman, she's a force of nature. She's something else. She's awesome. She's an amazing musician.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to highlight was the Beatles.
Yes.
You know, the Beatles released a song in late in 2023. It was a song.
How does that even work?
Well,
like, I don't understand how they could just release a song today.
So back in the 90s, they did this thing called the Beatles Anthology Series. It was 3 long CDs of like outtakes, different versions, you know, Strawberry Fields Take 22, stuff like that. And they got 3 songs from Yoko that John had recorded in the later 70s of just like vocals and piano, or just vocals or vocals and guitar. And they did 2 of them at the time. They did Free as a Bird and Boy, they did another one. Oh my God.
I won't know the answer to this, by the way. So
it'll come to me, but they did a second one. And oh my God, I'm so dumb. But then they did a third one. They didn't like the way it turned out. So they just shelved it. And then George Harrison passed away in 2002. And then like, well, I guess that's that. So that song's never going to see the light of day. But then what happened was the invention of my new best friend, AI. So
Mike is such an AI homer. You guys have no idea.
AI's amazing. So what they were able to do is they put the song into AI. So John's vocals had they were muddled up with the piano. They didn't sound good. They were able to strip all the tracks out and clean everything up, even George's guitar, all that stuff. So they had fresh stuff to work with. And then Paul and George went in and finished a few things, and then it was done. And like the song was done. And the song is awesome. Like, it's really good. Like, it's like again, I'm like the Beatles. I love the Beatles, not as much as I love the Beatles more than like AI, but AI is still cool. But the Beatles are amazing. And for them to come back, they haven't put a record out since 1970. They haven't recorded really as a 4-piece since like 1969. So that's just a couple of years ago. And for them to come out and win a Grammy.
Yeah, it's fascinating, man.
So cool, man. It's just the greatest. So that, I wish I would have seen. I don't know if Paul and Ringo were there. They must have been.
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch it.
But yeah, they used AI. Like, it's just, that's sort of not the magic of it, but it's just another tool. If you have older music that doesn't sound good, you can clean it right up and just make it sound. Yeah.
Put it into an AI processor basically, and it would like extract what you're trying to go for, basically.
Exactly. And I think a lot of that, especially with the Beatles, that documentary that came out, the Let It Be. Is it Let It Be? Or Get Back? It's called Get Back. Man, my memory tonight is awful.
Mike's usually really good at these things.
I usually am, but I'm just
obscure dates from like 14 years ago that nobody else.
Well, I think I remember all that stuff. But with that Get Back documentary, it's 10 hours of studio footage, and to most people it would be boring as hell. But it was fascinating. A fascinating look into a band that, you know, he had these misconceptions of they were falling apart, and they were. Yeah. But what? So the
song is called Now and Then.
It is,
I believe, right?
Yeah, I was going to land the plane eventually.
Sorry,
it's okay. But to see a band fall apart in a way that I didn't think was normal, I figured they'd be fighting and yelling and swearing and I hate you and I hate this, and it's like, no, like, because George left the band for like a week or 2 weeks or something, and he's like, okay, guys, I'm leaving now, and okay, take care. That was it. It's like, what? It's like, George just left the band in the most like nonchalant, like English way you could. I'm like, wow, cool. But then he came back, and then it just showed them writing songs, and like Paul would be playing, all of a sudden he just like, the chords to Let It Be would start playing, and then he'd just like write the lyrics right there. Like, wow, you're watching this like happen.
Yeah, they're geniuses, man. All of the Beatles, they just write songs so fast. It's just like they don't have to put a lot of, I don't want to say they don't put a lot of thought into it. The way the song just naturally manifests so quickly for them is something that is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And
they just said, we're going to write it like this. And then they just go with it and go with the feeling of what they feel like it should be. And then next thing you know, it's like a #1 hit.
Well, to have 3 alphas in one, I know this is turning into a Beatles episode, but
that's okay. I'm sure you're okay with that.
I am just fine with that. And to have 3 alphas that can write songs very well in one band is and for it to work and coexist for over 10 years is mind-boggling. But let's move on from the Beatles.
So Taylor Swift didn't get any nods, did she?
She didn't win anything, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
But you know what? I think that's okay. My daughter's a huge Swiftie, and she was mildly upset that somebody else kept winning all the awards, and fair enough. But like I told her, I said, Taylor's won everything over and over again. And it's okay for her not to win.
It's okay for somebody else to win, right?
Because somebody else wins, and she's the first one up, clapping, dancing, hooting and hollering, and being a good sport, not being like Kanye West and going, nope, I don't think so. That's mine. No, you just don't do that. So whatever. Like you said, it's a popularity contest.
It is, yeah.
And there's some new artists. Sabrina Carpenter won an award. I don't know what.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, my daughter, she likes her
Espresso.
too. I've never heard of.
Well, the big categories. I mean, the first one is Record of the Year.
Yes,
which is Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
that
was cool that he won. He won like 5.
Yeah. Album of the Year was the Beyonce album, Cowboy Carter. I don't know how I feel about that. Apparently, it's not as bad as. I don't know. It's an odd step for Beyonce, I think. But
kind of shoehorning yourself into a genre that doesn't need you.
It's a good way of putting it, actually.
Well, it is. Nobody asked for this. It's not like, Post Malone kind of goes country, and that's okay because I don't want to say anything bad about Beyonce, but it's just, she's too big, right?
Yeah.
At this point, just stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane and just write songs that you're passionate about, and don't go on like a crusade saying, I need to do country and blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so can you explain something to me?
Maybe.
What's the difference between Record of the Year and Album of the Year?
Record of the Year is the one song. Back in the day when you would spin records, you spin the one song. It's just a single song. So Kendrick won.
So then underneath that, they have Song of the Year as well as a separate category, as a third category.
I mean, it's more awards, man. I don't know. Because I think, what won Song of the Year?
Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar.
Okay, what won Record of the Year?
Record of the Year, same thing.
I have no idea. I really don't know.
Well, the differential here is that the Record of the Year is awarded to the artists, album producers, recording engineers, and mixers and masters for that song.
Okay.
And then Song of the Year is the Songwriters Award, basically.
Okay.
So it goes for the creation of the song.
There you go.
Instead of the production element of it. Yeah. So that's the difference. Is one is a production quality award, and the other is a songwriting award.
Interesting.
So, a lot of the times the same song wins both, basically.
And you can't have one without. It's like,
I guess not, right?
Well,
but
it's almost like saying the Oscars, Best Picture and Best Director kind of go hand in hand because the director made the movie.
That's a good analogy, actually.
When a picture wins and the director doesn't, you're like, well, but he made that into this. So how can he not be also the best director? It doesn't make any sense. It's like saying when Titanic wins Best Picture, you're not going to give the best director to James Cameron. Come on.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird category, right?
But I don't understand directing a whole lot. I know there's lots of other pieces that go into it, but it's his decision. It's his any shot that anyone does.
Vision.
The AD said, okay, we're going to shoot this. And he's like, yeah, you do that. Then no, do it again. Because it's his show.
Yeah, it's right.
Doesn't make any sense.
You feel like it should be one category, it should just encompass both, but it doesn't. So
it doesn't.
Yeah, that's
because every time I watch the Oscars, I'm like, okay, well, this best director is whoever, Steven Soderbergh, and then it's like, but that wasn't his movie. I just shake my head. I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
it's above my head. It's above my pay grade, as they say.
So,
but I
mean, the rest are fluff categories I'm really interested in. So Sabrina Carpenter won for best solo pop solo performance with Espresso, which I think was made more famous by SNL. I'm not sure if you watched that SNL skit.
I did not. No, I didn't see that
it went super viral a couple months ago. Yeah.
Really?
It was, If you know, because it was probably the highest rated SNL skit of last year.
Can you pull up the best new artist category? So I know Chapel Roan, she won that.
Yeah, so the nominations were Benson Boone, Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii. I don't know how to pronounce the next one. Ray, Chappelle Roan won, Shabuzi, and Teddy Swims.
Interesting.
Uraya Nagbin, I guess.
It's Karungabin. I believe he's English, I think. He's awesome. He's really cool.
Listen, guys, Sebastian here can't pronounce anything properly. Just get used to it.
Seriously, look up some of his music. He's really good.
Yeah.
He's interesting. He did a song with Leon Bridges.
Okay.
Blues guitar player, kind of like in the pop blues. Really good. Like he's cool, man. I think it's Karungabin, but I'm not sure. What?
I just want to quickly say to the people listening to this podcast that Mike and I do not really follow popular stream of music taste. We kind of just explore really weird and off-branch types of music. And so for us, we're like so far away from, like, I cannot tell you the last time I turned on a radio station and listened to the radio. Like, I just don't do that. Like, I don't go to the Billboard Top 100. I don't do any of that kind of stuff.
No idea.
I just explore these weird recesses of Spotify and YouTube to try to find music.
You look at
I'm pretty sure Mike does the same thing.
You look at your recently played, you're like, I can't pronounce any of this.
Freaking
like,
scary, some of the stuff that's on there.
Yeah.
Like, why are you listening to Tibetan tribal music? Like, what is?
Because it's good.
It's cool.
I put on, I can't even pronounce this. There's a lot of abbreviations above letters, but it's in the same vein as word journal. They're really cool. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. That's like, I don't listen to what's normal. But I guess maybe on a closing note, I guess they had the like a fire aid for all the fires in LA. They had a big concert, and and Dave Grohl, Chris Novoselic, and Pat Smear reunited with a couple of different with like singers. One, of course, was Violet Grohl, Dave's daughter, and I believe was it Joan Jett did another one.
Well, the Violet did All Apologies, I believe.
Something like that. They played a bunch of songs.
It was really good, actually.
And they played some like deep cuts, like territorial pissings, and just like weird, like offbeat Nirvana songs. Like, yeah, do it.
Yeah, you can if you just Google Violet Grohl All Apologies, like that. She kills it in that song.
She's got a great voice. She sings on a song on the newest Foo Fighters record. She is amazing.
Yeah, big fan of that performance.
Yeah, so I think
Fire
that's
Aid
cool.
LA benefit concert. That was like 4 days ago, wasn't it? Or 3 days ago?
Like that.
Yeah.
But nice to see Dave back on the drums after his recent transgressions about his personal life.
Yeah, I haven't seen him on a drum set in quite some time. Hey,
no, and it's nice to see him, Chris, and Pat together playing Nirvana songs. I think they all miss it, and they'd love to, but you can't. You can't. Even if you decided, hey,
can't have Nirvana without Kurt Cobain, man.
No, you can't. You can't even call it. You couldn't even call it Nirvana. It'd be like, it would be like, I struggle with calling Pantera, but because it's really not. But it's kind of like
I'm okay with it as long as they don't start writing new music. I guess.
There's a rumor. There's a rumor going around.
And then I might also be okay with it.
It depends if it's good or not, right? Like, it's
just to quickly highlight the Violet Grohl, it's absolutely amazing how close she sounds to Kurt Cobain when she's singing that song. It's like haunting. Like, this is freaking. If you close your eyes, you think it's Kurt Cobain singing the song.
I'm gonna have to listen to that because I have not heard that.
It's so good. You should. Yeah, it's so good.
I will definitely do it. So they're halfway through the lottery. I have not had my name chosen yet. Everybody,
please root for Mike to get in this lottery so he can run his brains off.
Run my brains off. Yeah. And actually, I'm just excited to do it. It's on my bucket list of races.
Good for you. You should do it.
I really want to. Like I said, I have 2 others that I wanted. They're both 50K, and I want to do those if I don't get into this. But this is it's a big thing. It's also going to tax family a bit because I'm going to have to be running an awful lot. And then the day of the race, my wife's also going to have to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and get me to the...
Hey, this is a support structure for you. She's got to do it. Come on.
Get me to the shuttle bus by 4:45, and then race starts at 6, and that's early because when do you eat breakfast? I can't eat at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4.
That's tough.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, all
live
these
on
things,
gel packs for the whole race, whole day.
I don't know.
Is that pure sugar that you're?
Yeah, and I can't eat when I run long distances either. So I really got to figure that out. So I'm gonna have to start when I'm running for a long time.
Well, the other problem with that too is like if you go carb heavy the night before, you're just gonna wake up hungry. because of like the carb load, right? And then you're still going to be hungry. You're going to be starving in the morning, right?
Yes, sir.
But then you still need those carbs. Like, I don't understand how
carbs. I need the whole meal deal. So I'm going to start whatever. But it's honestly, it's so bloody cold outside. I thought I was a cold weather runner, but I'm not anymore. I'm going to go find a treadmill probably tomorrow.
You live in the wrong area of the world for non-cold weather running there, Ben.
Yeah, like another one on my bucket list. There's a marathon in Iceland I want to do. That takes you around a bunch of these dormant volcanoes. You have to like run up these volcanoes.
Bro, I will 100% go with you.
Done.
I'm not going to run.
No.
I'll just be in Iceland, but I'll go with you just to see ice.
It's quite affordable to go to Iceland. It's you can fly to Iceland cheaper than you can fly to like Toronto.
That's
nuts.
Weird.
It is. I looked up
that
flights.
Doesn't make sense to me.
And I'm like, okay, so my plan for that is to do it when I'm 50.
Well, it's a couple of years from now.
It's not that long, right?
2 years, 2.5 years,
Basically 2.5 years, and that's fine.
I stuttered because I couldn't realize that it was 2.5 years. I'm like, oh my god!
Right, and one last thing before we go, it is my son's 16th birthday today.
Happy birthday, Cooper!
Happy birthday! It's the most wonderful son any dad could ever ask for. He is an amazing young man, and I don't know where he obviously got his brains from his mother because he didn't get them from me. But he's driven, he's kind, he's empathetic, he's just awesome. He
has the best versions of both of you.
Really does. I don't know what the parts he has of me yet. I'm trying to figure that out. But all joking aside, he's a wonderful kid.
He's a good kid,
and he's going to get his learner's license in a couple of weeks.
Good.
And I think that's cool. I think it's really neat. If he ever wants to drive my car, the answer is no.
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 You drive mom's car, you're not driving my car.
Right. Pretty much. No touchy. You leave it alone.
No
touchy. That is mandatory music for whatever day it is today, February 3rd, because it's my son's birthday.
Monday, I think.
I should know that. Mr. Steve, happy birthday, buddy, because it's also your birthday today.
Oh, that's
An old friend of ours we've known him for 200 years.
My first roommate ever.
Yeah, there you go. So it's his birthday today as well. So I wish him a happy birthday this morning. And,
nice.
Yeah. So that is mandatory music. That's episode 46. Look at us.
We're getting there.
And here I thought that 9 minutes in, we're going to run out of stuff to talk about. We've been on the horn for 34 minutes.
That's
right?
the way it works.
34 minutes now. So thanks everyone for listening, and we will be back next week with something fun.
Bye.
Bye.